Hello, parents. My name is Marissa Tate, and I am the math coach at Rocky Ridge. And this is Cami Benjamin, and she is she's a kindergartner here at Rocky Ridge. And she is going to be my counter today as I model for you how to do counting collections. And just in case anybody's curious, Cami and I are not wearing masks today because Cami is my daughter. So we live in the same house. So,
and we have brother and sister.
And she has a brother and sister, but
We'll
talk about Anna and Davis later, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of things before I let Cami count for us. And then after Cami counts, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I hear when, or what I'm looking for when Cami is counting. So, first of all, what does my kid count, right? That's a great question. What should I have my child count? The answer is anything. Okay, we are going to count some goldfish. Cami has these. We made a cup of goldfish, and then Cami was able to use this scooper. She scooped out some, and she got a little pile right here. So that's how she got the ones that she's going to count. Yep, but sometimes. So we also had this big scooper, and that would be good for a larger object like this, because remember the goal is we want to keep the count under 20 right now. A typical kindergartner is probably able to have what we call one-to-one correspondence, which means that I touch one item and I call it one. And I touch one more item and I say one more number. That's one-to-one correspondence. Typically, kindergartners at this stage have one-to-one correspondence within 10, maybe within 20. So you'll kind of see some examples of that as Cami counts. So you might use a bigger scooper like this with a larger item, just so you kind of keep your count decently low. I don't want to pour this whole box of crayons out because, as you can see, it's a 24 pack. So I might pick a stack of crayons for her to count. If you have individual candy like this, she likes to just pour out her M&Ms and count those. And then she gets to eat it. So there, and then, and I just like to have an array of scoopers available for kids when they're counting. So there we have like different size cups, different size spoons, ladles.
And bowl in this scooper.
Oh yeah, and we have like little bowl kind of looking things. Okay. So we have lots of items, scoopers and things like that, different items. Kids can count anything. I will say it's harder. It can cause a little bit more anxiety sometimes, or it can be harder when objects are all different shapes and sizes. So for instance, if they were counting something like this, they might start trying to separate and classify shapes, and we don't want them to focus on that. We just want them to count. So in this case, I just have regular goldfish. They all look the same. So we're going to let her count. All right, are you ready? All right, so we're gonna watch Cami count her goldfish. So can you count your goldfish? Very good. Show us how you count, please.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So how many goldfish do you have, Cami?
5.
Oh, are you sure you have 5? What numbers did you say?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, can you count those one more time and touch one number and say one number? Touch one goldfish and say one number at a time.
Are we going to use this?
We probably are. Can you try one more time to count?
1,
Great.
2, 3, 4.
There's 4. How many are right here?
4.
There are 4 goldfish right here. Great. How many all together? This is 4. What comes after 4? Look at your goldfish.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, and how many are in this row?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so we have a 4, a 3, and a 3. So as you'll notice, we are struggling a little bit. In a minute. We are struggling a little bit to count all 10 goldfish. There were 10 goldfish. So, it's called cardinality, when a student is able to count and they understand that the last number they said is the total amount. So that's called cardinality. And she has cardinality within 5 because she was able to do 4, 3, and 3. But past 5, we're struggling a little bit. So there's her goldfish. So this is what I'm going to try next. I'm going to try having her put 1 goldfish on each number. So I have a number path that I just went on the internet and made some boxes and put numbers inside the boxes, and I just have up to 20. I did
This is how.
2 rows of 10, taped them together. Okay?
This is.
Okay, listen. We're going to count again. This time, all right, thank you. We're going to count again. This time I'd like for you to, when you're counting, to put a goldfish on a number, okay, in a box. So it's going to get a little squishy, but can you count out loud?
1,
Okay,
2,
great.
4,
Oops, what comes next?
3.
Thank you. Then what?
0.
No, 4.
4, 5, 8.
Oops, guess what's happening? We're missing a box, so 5. What comes next? Let's count. Count with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Great, what comes next?
Good.
7.
7.
Put your fish down on 7. All right, let's count them all together. Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
How many goldfish are right here?
5. There's 3 left.
Oh, there's 3 left. Very good. You could just look and know there were 3. You didn't even have to count those, which is called subitizing. And we hope that, so Cami is working on subitizing within 5, and that's a typical kindergarten activity. And you'll notice Cami is struggling to count and know how many past even 7, and that's okay. This is typical and it's normal. Some kids will be able to count past 10 and have that. Cami's had a lot of experience and just has not gotten there yet, and that's okay. So I just wanted you to know this is a very typical kindergarten counter. She's working super hard, right? Okay, and so this is a tool that might help. This is also going to help her start to recognize all these numerals. She does not probably recognize past 5 because that's what we've been working on. It has the numbers. She's classroom number 2.
Hey, come to my closet.
Another item, this is a tens frame that might help students. And if you're going past 10 within 20, you might want to have a paper that has 2 tens frames on it, but they would put 1 per box and they can just start. That might help them to count and use one-to-one correspondence if they start to, as you saw Cami kind of doing, where she was kind of touching more than 1 and saying only 1 number or vice versa. This is a way to help your students touch 1, say 1, so 1, and then put another one here, 2. Okay, and this also is going to help with subitizing because kids will start to recognize what 3 on a tens frame looks like, or what 6 on a tens frame looks like. And so it's built on the 5 plus 5 system. So this is a tens frame. So going back, we looked at one-to-one correspondence, and you notice that I just stopped after a certain count because we weren't getting anywhere, and that's okay. Okay, so we would say that Cami counted 7 goldfish today, right? And we're working on cardinality. That's coming, and that is totally normal for a kindergartner. So we're working on cardinality past 5 up to 10. So Cammie was able to count the goldfish. She counted 7. She got to 7. But also, if your student is is able to do more than this, is able to count 15 items correctly all the time, they count it here, have them recount, and they get to 15 again, and they're able to tell you that it's 15, then give them 25 things. You can certainly try and extend their understanding, but also don't push too hard that you frustrate your child. So you just want to kind of recognize when things are starting to break down. All right, put those down. Can you count for me? Start counting at 1. Start counting. Out loud. Just say your numbers.
1,
Keep going.
2,
Go a little faster.
3,
Okay?
4,
Yeah?
5, 6,
Okay?
7, 8, 9.
What comes next? After 9?
0,
10. It has a 0 in it. You're right. 10.
10,
Do you know what comes next? No? Or yes?
Yes.
What comes after 10? 8, 9, 10.
11.
Very good. So you can see Cammie can rote count to 11, no problem. But counting to 10 with the goldfish is difficult. So just because your child can rote count to a number doesn't mean that they have one-to-one correspondence to that number. So it's okay. This is what we're doing in kindergarten. But I wanted you to understand what counting collections might look like at your house. So it might be, it's way smaller than you sort of expect. You can use larger objects. Again, you could make larger boxes so that the objects fit on each box, but this is going to help with numeral recognition as well. The importance of counting collection is that counting is the building blocks of math. We call it number sense, and counting is what builds kids' number sense. So that's the starting spot. So they need to be able to rote count. Then they need to have one-to-one correspondence, and then we're working towards cardinality. And all of that builds. So they might be able to rote count to 11, but they might only have one-to-one correspondence to 5 and have cardinality to 5, like Cammie. But she's going to keep working on it. We practice at home, and she will get better at it. So those are kind of our 3 goals as kindergarten standards. And you as the learning coach or parent are so important in this process of being able to listen to your child do counting collections and then ask them some questions. How many did you count? How do you know? You noticed when she got kind of distracted, she doesn't know how to just pick up from any number and keep counting. That's normal. So she had to go back to 1. So we had to go back to 1 and start over again, and that's okay. So